Hi guys, and welcome to this video, which is gonna kind of summarize the Coaches Congress from 2022, which was held now in April. Very awesome Congress. The feedback has been really good. My name is Richard. I'm a gym owner here in Berlin, originally from Sweden, and I create some of the content here on Coaches Congress to help you as a gym owner to become a bit better at what you're doing. At least that's what I try to do myself. So this video is kind of also to help myself to get some act together. So if you want to have some tips on how to hire people, how to scale your company, a bit of leadership, coaching for kids programs, then this video is going to be great for you. So I'm just going to start summarize all these events that we went through. Just a small caveat, I did a lot of interviews together with Malin on Coaches Congress where we interviewed some of the speakers. So they will also come out pretty soon, and I encourage you to listen to them because they're also going to teach you a lot. We talked to Eric Blomberg from Aleco, Marcus Philly from Functional Bodybuilding, Jeff and Mickey Martin, and so on. So stay tuned and see what's going to come up. So let's dive into this. So to start with, we had the welcoming talk, of course, because this is the 8th year, I think, from Coaches Congress. So we got some really great information about where it comes from and originates. Listen to the podcast and you will have more information about that. But the first talk that was kind of to us as gym owners and box owners was from Eric Blomberg, who is a CEO of Aleco. And he shared us a speech called Leading with Kindness. And it doesn't mean that you're leading with naivete, but you're actually, there's some kind of goodwill in what you're doing, I guess. We did a great interview with Eric, so that's going to be out there. But he said something that is very, very important, which I think every business owner needs to figure out is what are your values? And as soon as you know exactly what your values are, write them down, because if you want to have a successful business, you need to know where the line is drawn. So whatever you think is important, you have to put that on the board, because as soon as somebody is stepping on the values of your company and that everyone is sharing, that's a person that's not going to fit in your team. And otherwise, he talked a bit about like expansion of the company and that he had a lot of opportunities to expand, and they did some things that were not so good. So and sometimes scaling is just not the right opportunity, and we can see this with box owners too, that hey, we want to open up a second, third location before the first location is really profitable, and we're trying to open up this second business, whatever it might be, a nutrition company and this and that, because we simply need the money, it appears. So, but we could have a very profitable business to start with, like a core business, and that's what Aleco then refocused on, and they have a steady growth, but they're not going to take these crazy steps. And they talked about how they expand this with what kind of strategy and so on. Yeah, it was a really good speech, and I would definitely, and it kind of trickles through all the other speeches in one way, because our next speech was about scaling your company fast, and that was by Khalida Connell, who is a two-brain mentor, but she's also the founder of Gym Lean Machine, or Kylo. So she basically started a company that is having a CRM homepage and lead generation tool for gyms. because she probably saw that this is going to be very helpful for gym businesses. And so she started this business, and they had to grow fast, and it grew and exploded basically. And she talked about how to actually grow fast. And it transferred also to other businesses. So one thing that key reminder she put on is like, you have to work with simplicity, meaning make it as simple as possible before you start scaling. So whatever that means for you, it just means that take out anything that is unnecessary. So for gym owners, that could be like, what program are you doing that is not really contributing to the business? Or do you have a lot of processes or stuff that you're doing admin-wise that is just taking time, doesn't bring any return to the business? She also talking about taking away, deleting all the stuff, the fluff in the business, so you can really focus. Now, for a tech company, this is really obvious, but I think it's also translatable to the gym business. So key takeaways, I would say simplicity, and see if you can optimize, take away stuff that is not used. After that, we have Jeff Juka, who is a two-brain business mentor, and he talked about how to hire your dream team. And again, we came back to values, and he had some pretty good questions to how you can define your values. So basically, think about how you would like to work. So if you would work somewhere, what would you like to have there? And what would you definitely don't like? And sometimes it's good to know what you don't like. So you write down, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like to be late, and so on. So whatever you don't like, you should probably have a value that is the opposite. And he also talked about how to distinguish good people and so on. And he had a good trick, and he said the first thing he does is doing something very difficult with some person and see if they can work together under difficult circumstances. There was a call to action, and that's basically, we usually have our communities with people and we know would fit our business. So we should just reach out to them and ask them, is this really what you want to work with, or do you want to work with me? And astoundingly, he had this experience. Every gym owner has this experience, I think, is that people are so ready to work for something that they believe in. And usually our businesses are something that people can really relate to and that they really love to do. So reach out to somebody that you might think of when you're listening to this, because that's also very important to take that action. So write someone now if you can. The next day, we had Jeff and Mickey Martin. They are the founders of Brand X Method and former CrossFit Kids. So basically what you need to do when you open up a gym or a kids program at the gym, some people think that, okay, this is just going to be a money grab. This should be easy money or whatever, or so, but it's very important that you have a person that really, really likes to do this and wants to work with kids. And I know there are many out there that want to do it, but then it's all about how you kind of program, depending on age, but also how do you keep the kids for long, and how do you make that a priority in their development and not just an activity that the parents are just putting their kids there and then they leave. It's a lot about how the communication to parents and what you do and what strategies you have there. And they built very successful programs around this, and how to connect with the parents and with the kids. A very good takeaway, I think, was this having different avatars. There are different type of parents, basically, so ahead what kind of parent you're talking to. and what you need to say to that parent so they think it's important. So I would definitely check out Brand X Method if you are interested in that. It's an awesome company, of course. They also have a very good value, and they just ask themselves, is this going to help kids? And so that's always like the question, if anything comes up, will this actually be of help for the kids? We did a podcast with them too, so have a listen on that. It's also very good. Then we had a kind of a marketing strategy talk from Per and Oscar, and Per Mattsson and Oscar Johed. So they talked about story branding, and it's about distinguishing who your top clients are and putting them on the podium, and also having a good strategy of how to capture these people and their statements. So Oscar went through like the questions that you should ask, and also to make it easier for those testimonials to happen. And then it comes down to what you put into the marketing. Who is your ideal client? What do they work with? Where do they live? How's their surroundings? And everything. So the better you know this, then you can start to talk about their pain points, and that could be, very successful at business, very successful in life, but last 10 years fitness has started to decline. So these people might feel not so happy inside. So a message could be, for example, you look successful and so on, but inside you don't feel like you are that fit as you were before. Is it time to fit in those clothes and whatever? And basically, if you know who you're talking to, you're going to be able to craft the message much better and attract more of those people. And that's a basic lesson from this pumpkin plan also, which is a book about where the seed clients come from, and to replicate the best clients that you have. Very brief there, but I hope you get the main point. Then we had a talk about making career coaching and how to create roadmaps with your coaches, and that, how you basically map out the future for someone. And again, it comes down to staffing and how do you find those. And very often you have these people inside your community that would be a perfect match. You know who they are, you like them. They might work with something else today, but you need to maybe reach out to them or go out, take a coffee with them. And they will tell you if they're happy with their job or if they're maybe ready to take a step. And so many times it actually happens that people are like, no, I'm giving up this super secure job to do something I'm really passionate about. So Kenny, in this speech, then he explained how to do a roadmap. So basically put out how many hours of group can you do, how much hours of PT, nutrition coaching, or other stuff, and basically build a career about that. We talked about 3 different phases. The first phase was about before, so you're actually checking who that person is and creating a very good idea of the fit to the company. Second phase, and when they start and when they grow, and they might be in this phase for 2 to 4 years. And then you have the third phase where it's either they're ready to step up and become managers or whatever, or they need to find another place. But it's important for you as a gym owner to have an idea what you want to put in that roadmap. Where is this going in the future? Then we had a talk that I couldn't see, unfortunately, but and it's from Jochen Oldenbroek. So he is from the Netherlands. He owns Unscared Fitness. He used to work for Alico before. I just heard his main message which was like, your members are not your friends, which means that sometimes we get so emotional about our members and so on, and we think that they are our friends, but the truth is your friends don't pay you money to be with you. So there is a difference between having relationships and having friends. And we can have very good relationships with our clients for sure, but as long as they're paying you, they can't be your friends really. Don't see your members as your friends, because you might get hurt. And also, you shouldn't base your decisions on what your friends think in that sense, but you have to do decisions that are supporting your business. Good. And then we had another talk that was very good, and it was with Jim Kroll, Vincent Miselli, and Jason Crow. So Jason Crow comes from Precision Nutrition. Vincent Miselli has a CrossFit affiliate, but also is working on an AI product. I don't know exactly so much about it. And then we had Jason Crow, and Marcus Billy was actually also joining that stage. And they talked a bit about the future of fitness and how particularly wearables will, influence a lot of what happens in the business. And we as coaches have to level up. And there was a bit of a discussion about where's the space for the coaches, and will coaches even be needed, because now computers can read how people are moving. They can count your reps and do all kind of screenings in a blink of a second. So some people got a bit anxious about this topic, I would say, because, well, the future seems a bit scary. It can be, but my take is that if you're a good coach, there will always be need of a good coach to create that accountability, because a lot of the coaching is about accountability, and machines will have a harder time to be there for us and keep us accountable, because we can just turn them off, and that's a bit harder with a human being, I think. But it was a very interesting topic, and topics really, because it kind of wandered everywhere, but it was mind-provoking. What does the future look like, and how prepared are you for that future? And I think for bigger gyms, this is going to be definitely something they have to tackle. Smaller gyms will have some more years to work with this, but you can start to think about what services can you maybe implement that will keep your clients longer, keep them more engaged, and make them happier and see more results. A good example is like Whoops, other tracking like Garmin's, whatever they're called. How much do you know as a coach about these, so you can have a very good dialogue with your members about those numbers that these devices are showing? Good. Then we had another talk I unfortunately couldn't see, and it's about taking care of yourself by Colin O'Reilly, and it's about the mental state that you're in, how you perceive stress, and all the things that we're going through as coaches. Colin has been doing a lot of mindset training for multiple people, for gym owners, but also for regular clients. So he gave me a tip to a book, and it's called Against Empathy. So maybe you can just check that up. I'm sorry, I don't know too much more of that speech. And then we had another talk about from Jim Kroll, which was about increasing certainty, and it was about decision making, basically, and how we have to be good at measuring what we're doing. So if we want to implement something, make a plan before. What do you want to see as outcome? So if you're paying some ads, what do you want to see happen from those ads? What happens after that? And or for example, you put a program, what do you want to see happening from this program? So you constantly have to evaluate and set it into action and then re-evaluate. So we all know this from coaching and coaching people. It's like, make the diagnose, what do you want to achieve as a goal? And then we create a prescription. Okay, you need to train 4 times a week and do this kind of program, nutrition, blah, blah, blah. And then you get going for like a certain time. And then you reassess, did that work? Did that plan work? And basically the same thing now for your business. But yeah, we talked a bit about like decision making, and making those decisions also comes back to how is your emotional state when you're taking decisions. Too many of us are taking decisions where we're very passionate or whatever, but studies are very clear on that. The more, you know, elevated your mood is, the less likely it is that you're going to make a good decision, because you're just kind of winging it. So you want to calculate the outcome and be as thorough as possible in your calculations. So this was, of course, not all the speeches, but that kind of sums up the ones that I saw at least. And I hope that kind of helps you to get some idea of how it was. But also, I think one of the main things you get from this Congress is actually the one-on-one, talking to people about their problems and seeing kind of all these like repetitive problems people have. Like one very common problem apparently is open gym in CrossFit affiliates is like so many gyms are just saying, no, I don't want to have it anymore. They're taking it out, and that's kind of where you can see where the progression or the maturity of the gym might be. So, but yeah, that was just one example. There are so many where you talk to each other like, oh, we're in the same boat here, kind of. So I definitely recommend you to look into the next Coaches Congress. It's going to be awesome, I'm pretty sure. If you have any thoughts or questions, reach out, and we're happy to talk. Okay, talk to you next time, and yeah, see you then.